guys, it's me, Peter Griffin, and today we are going to talk about things that should be added to Pokemon Go. If you like the ideas or not, leave a comment. Anyways, let's get started. NPC League. The Go Battle League is a feature that allows you to battle other players and get rewards from it. But if you're bad at it like me, you know how hard it is to win a single battle. So here comes the NPC League. It's basically a battle league, but easier for people who don't have much experience for battling. You would get the same rewards as regular league, but the battles would get harder according to the rank you got. And the NPCs, Pokemon teams, and IVs would be random. So it would give you a little bit of the original battle league, you know. Oh, but it would be so much work for them to add these NPCs and all the other things. Actually, no, because in the past there were events that added NPCs that worked almost exactly like this. Plus, there are Team Go Rocket Grunts. They obviously can change or add some stuff to their carding to turn them into these NPCs and turn the NPC League into a real thing. Now let's go to the next one. Go Home Trades. You can get a Melton box by trading a random Pokemon to Pokemon Home, but can't get a Pokemon from Pokemon Home to your Pokemon Go account. But with Go Home Trades, you would be able to do that. Here's how it would work. You transfer a Pokemon from your Pokemon game to your Pokemon Home, and then from there to your Pokemon Go. Very simple. But there would be some rules. 1. Even if the Pokemon you transferred had perfect IVs, it would always arrive in Pokemon Go with them reduced down to 2 or less stars. 2. The daily limit of transfers would be 100 Pokemons, just like the daily trade limit. 3. If you transferred a legendary, mythical, or Ultra Beast Pokemon, it would be considered as 2 Pokemons. And if it's a shiny, it would be considered as 3. 4. If the Pokemon you transferred was holding an item that is in Pokemon Go, the game would take it from it and add to your bag. If the item is not registered in Pokemon Go, it would turn into 30 Stardust, the same amount you get by feeding your Pokemon in gyms. And 5, if you transferred a Pokemon that is not in the game yet, you would be given 100 Stardust instead of the Pokemon. Oh, but wouldn't that ruin the regional Pokemon system they made? Well, yes, but actually no, because first they now added the distance trade mechanic, and second, I once had a friend who was a collector of Pokemons, and he had 2 phones. Why, you ask? One he played with his regular account, and the other he used PGS Sharp to get the regional Pokemons in the game and then trade with himself. But back to the Go Home trades, with the feature special background, they could add a small chance between 3% to 5% to the Pokemon you transferred to have a special background according to the game. The Pokemon was transferred. This would satisfy players that like to collect these kind of variant of Pokemons. It would also make Pokemon games increase their sales, making the Pokemon Company and Nintendo double their profits and maybe increase their union with Niantic due to that, letting her able to add more than 1 or 3 new Pokemon in the Pokemon Go events. All right, next, mythical raids. Most mythicals are unique Pokemon, and very few legendaries too. So what if the unique mythicals and legendaries had raids too? Introducing mythical raids. They work just like regular raids, but they would be 6 stars raids. Give you double the items of a 5-star raid. And if you get a shiny version of the Pokemon, you would need to pay 500 Pocoins to get it. I know this last one is kind of bad, but it would be a way to make shiny, unique mythicals and legendaries stay rarer to get. This idea is kind of simple, but it would be cool for collectors who want to have every form or variant of these Pokemons. In Portuguese. Próximo. Tradable item store, raspberries and nanaberries are pretty useless items. More useless than that are the souvenirs your buddy gives you, since they can't be used for anything. So what if there was some way to trade these items for better ones? This is the tradable item store. It would be one of the icons in the game menu where after entering you would be able to get all items you want by trading other ones you don't want anymore. Great, but how would it work? It would work like this. The more common the item you're given, the more of it you will need to trade for better ones, and the more rarer it is, the less you would need, but would get way more items when traded, depending the item you chose for trading it for. The only items you wouldn't be able to get from the shop are the raid passes, max mushrooms, max particles, team medallion, melted box, coin bag, golden modules, Gimmighoul coins, shadow shards, mysterious components, and stickers. But you would be able to use all of them for trading. You wouldn't be able to use unique items for trading in the store like the Infinite Incubator, Camera, or Zygarde Cube. But exceptions would be made for unique items that refresh daily, like the Daily Raid Pass or Incense, Melton Box, or Coin Bag. The maximum trades you could make in the store daily are 100, but you could use as much items as you want to do the trades. Okay, but who would trade the items? A random NPC. Not any NPC, but a Pokemon NPC. What? Huh? What the fuck? Calm down, calm down. I will explain. You see, Pokemon Go already have 2 exclusive Pokemons, which are Melton and Melmetal. So what if there was 1 or 2 more new and exclusive Pokemon in Pokemon Go that not only you could have, but would also be able to trade things with him as an NPC in the store? I will talk more about these Pokemons later. The values for the items you could use would be 1. Raspberries, Nanaberries, Giffets, Potion, and stickers. 2. Pinap Berry, free Shadow Shards, mysterious components, and fast and charge TMS. 5. Pokeball and Golden Raspberries. 7 silver pinap berries, 10 super potion, revive, great ball, and 100 max particles, 12 purified gem, 15 hyper potion, ultra ball, sunstone, king's rock, metal coat, dragon scale, upgrade, sinnoh stone, unova stone, and elite fast and charge TMs. 18 rocket radar, 20 max potion, max revive and lure, glacial, mossy, magnetic, and rainy modules. 25 incense, star piece, and luck egg. 30 daily incense, flower fruits, small bouquet, cactus fruit, pretty leaf, marble, mushroom, and tropical flower. 50 max mushroom, rare candies, and puffin. 54 Giovanni radar, 60 snowy pine cone, skipping stone, tropical shell, stretchy spring, torn ticket, lone earring, chalky stone, and beach glass. 75 coin bag and Gimagool coins. 90 confetti pieces, Pikachu visor, paper airplane, and tiny compass. 100 daily raid pass, melt and box, and egg incubator. 125 raid pass and boosted incense, 150 remote raid pass and XL rare candies, 200 super incubator, 300 timed incubator and safari ball, 375 golden module, 500 team medallion, and 1,000 master ball. If I'm missing any item, please tell me in the comments. Well, off to visit the next one. Yippee-ki-yay! Retradable Pokemon. You know when you trade a Pokemon, but after that you wish you had it back again, but you can't retrade it? Well, retradable Pokemon would help with that, but with some conditions. 1, the Pokemon would keep its IVs after the first trade. 2, he would have 0% chance of being lucky after retrading. 3, he would be the double the price of Stardust to retrade it. And 4, it would be considered as a special trade. Coming in hot for the next one. More candies. Everyone know that with 100 regular candies, you can turn that into XL candies, but what if you could do more than that? Introducing More Candies mechanic. With this, you would be able to turn 200 regular candies into 1 rare candy, and with 500 into 1 XL rare candy, but it doesn't end there, because you would be able to do the same with the other candies too, like if you use 2 XL candies, you turn them into a rare candy, and 5 into an XL rare candy. And with 3 rare candies, you would be able to turn them into an XL rare candy. The reverse could also be done, but you would get less candies from it. From 1 XL rare candy, you would be able to turn it into 2 rare candies, 3 XL candies, or 125 regular candies. From 1 rare candy, you would be able to get 1 XL candy or 50 regular candies. And with 1 XL candy, you would be able to get 25 regular candies. Another simple one, but I think it would be interesting to have this in the game. As they would say in Uganda, do you know the way? Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can Dynamax any Pokemon by using the Dynamax band and Gigantamax certain Pokemons by feeding them the max soup. In Pokemon Go, in the other hand, you can't do any of that. But what if you could? Introducing Max Amazing Mechanic. With that, you would be able to Dynamax or Gigantamax any Pokemon that is available as one of these in the game. This is how it would work. There would be an icon under the Pokemon's level up or power up button, just like the Mega Evolution button. With 500 max particles, you would be able to Dynamax any regular Pokemon. With 1,000, you would be able to Dynamax legendaries, mythicals, or Ultra Beasts. And with 1,501 max mushroom, you would be able to Gigantamax specifics Pokemons. This would help a lot people that don't have good Pokemons or friends or higher tier Dynamax or Gigantamax raids. Let me take my bike to go to the next one. Egg and field research storage. In the game, when you are full of stuff, you can buy more storage with 200 or 100 Pocoins. The available storages you can buy now are for Pokemon, item bag, and postcard. But there are 2 things that, in my opinion, should deserve more storage too, which are the eggs and field research. Just 12 eggs and 5 research is too low for me. So here's how it would work. Egg storage would cost 200 Pocoins and would give you 3 more slots, and field research storage would cost 100 coins and give you 2 more slots. These new storages would be very helpful for shiny egg hunters and for people that like getting stuff from field research. Baby! To the next one I go.
Better Max Raids. In Dynamax Raids, you can only use 3 Pokemon and can only have 4 people. At first, it sounds good enough until you get to the Dynamax Legendaries, because most people don't have good Dynamax Pokemons, and some don't even have friends to do them, resulting almost always in losing the raid, because not only there are a few Pokemon to use, but also because the Legendaries usually can one-shot your Pokemon. So some things that would be cool to add or improve are 3 more Pokemon to use, and being able to get 6 more Pokemon after all of them faint again and again, more people to join the raid with the maximum being 20, add a timer so the battle keeps fair to the game, and instead of needing to use a remote raid pass to join distant, you could use just double the amount of max particles for the raid. I know, this sounds like a regular raid, but if you are bad like me and max raids, you understand why I'm suggesting these things. As Mario would say, here we go! Regional Shiny Charm. In modern Pokemon games, when you complete the Pokedex, you get a Shiny Charm, an item that increases the odds of a shiny Pokemon to appear. But in Pokemon Go, this item is not present for two reasons. One is that the game doesn't have all Pokemons yet, and second is that the game's Pokedex is literally the entire national Pokedex. So it would take a very long while for players to complete it, even if the game had all Pokemons. So this is where the regional Shiny Charm would come in hand. You see, some regions are already completed in the game, like Kanto, Johto, and Hoenn. As you go on completing them, you get medals from Bronze to Platinum, and that's it. But what if when you reach the Platinum medal, you get a reward, just like the Pokestop Showcase medal? The reward would be a regional Shiny Charm, a charm that increases the shiny odds of the Pokemons from that region, or variants from the region, like regional forms like Hisuian Voltorb. The charms would look exactly like the ones you find in the main games, but with the symbol of the region in the middle of the star. This would help a lot shiny hunters. Let me get to your house to tell the next one. More buddy walking rewards. Some Pokemons need certain items to evolve or change forms in Pokemon Go. Most are easy to get, but some aren't, especially the ones that are raid exclusives. The items I'm talking are the Applin Apples, Necrozma Fusion Energy, Kyurem Fusion Energy, Zamazenta Crown Shield Energy, Zacian Crown Sword Energy, and Zygarde Cells. So what if you could get them by walking with them almost like Mega Pokemons, where you get Mega Energy with them? So here's how it would work. For Applin, it would work like a Mega Evolution. Before evolving for the first time into one of its evolutions, the apples will be locked, but after evolving into one of them, it will be able to get the apples by walking. If you walk with one of its evolutions, this evolution will give you the apple that it needed to evolve. Now, for the legendaries, it would work like this. For Necrozma Fusion Energies, it would work like this. If you walked with Solgaleo or Duskmane Necrozma, you would get 50 Solar Fusion Energies each time you finished walking with them. If you walked with Lunala or Dawnwings Necrozma, you would get 50 Luna Fusion Energies, and if you walked with a Cosmog or Cosmome, you would get 25 of both energies. For Kyurem Fusion Energy, it would work like Necrozma. If you walked with Reshiram or White Kyurem, you would get 50 Blaze Fusion Energies, and if you walked with Zekrom or Black Kyurem, you would get 50 Volt Fusion Energies. For Zamazenta and Zacian, it's the same again. If you walked with Zamazenta or Crown Shield Zamazenta, you would get 50 Crown Shield Energies, and if you walked with Zacian or Crown Sword Zacian, you would get 50 Crown Sword Energies. But if you battled in Dynamax raids while using these Pokemons as your buddies or not, you would have a 100% chance of getting 10 energies of the one you used in the raid. If you use both, you would get 10 energies of each. And for Zygarde, the same again. If you walked with any of its forms, you would get one Zygarde cell. But if you had Zygarde as your buddy while doing a route, you would get 2 guaranteed cells at the end of the route. This would help a lot people that use the adventure effect. Let me get to your room to tell the next one. You got games on your phone? Things that aren't necessary but would be cool to add.
That surely was the biggest name.
1. In the Pokemon storage, you can use Aero to go up and down very fast, but in the tag section, you gotta swipe your finger several times until you get to the one you want, so I think it would be cool to add 1 Aero in this section too. 2. In the main games, you can have 6 Pokemons as your buddies, but in Pokemon Go, you can have just 1. So it would be cool to add 5 more buddy slots so you can get more candies, Mega Energy, and best buddies faster. The first buddy in the team could be the one that appears in your trainer screen. 3. In the Pokemon storage, again, when you search for a Pokemon, you can use the buttons to find them faster, but when you search one by its name, you can either type it or use the magnifying glass buttons, which usually doesn't have the names you want. So I think it would be cool if you could create your own magnifying glass buttons so you could search for Pokemons more easily. 4. When you reach the best buddy level with your Pokemon, you get only a CP boost for him and a ribbon. But considering the only true benefit being the CP boost, I think it's kind of lame just getting these. With that, I think that it would be cool to have 2 more benefits, which could be half the distance for walking candies and another gift that gives you the best items, like max potions, max revives, and in rare cases, rare candies. 5. You can get only 3 Zygarde cells daily, which is a very low number considering you need 250 to evolve Zygarde to its final form. So it would be cool if the daily amount was increased to 100 or at least 50, and you could use the same route again and again.
Let me open the wall to go to the last one.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh yeah!
New Pokemon. So as said in the tradable item store, I was thinking of adding a Pokemon that you would be able to have and also trade things with him as an NPC in the store. So I had 2 ideas, one that involves making a new Pokemon and other that involves the new Pokemon category Convergent Species. The first Pokemon idea is creating a Pokemon that is based on a regular chicken, which would be called Kolchen, mix of collector and hen. He would have clear gender differences, with the female wearing a worn straw hat that has a little hole in the side, and it would have a short tail, while the male would wear a worn sunglasses with one of the lenses missing, and it would have a bigger tail. But both genders would carry big bags on their back with a patch. Its height would be 37 centimeters, and its weight would be 4.5 kilograms, and this Pokemon would be a pure normal type.
Kolchen, the collector Pokemon. This Pokemon is known for walking around cities, grabbing anything they find interesting in the streets and keeping them in their big bags, which later they empty them in their shelters to add everything they got to their collection. If a human shows a picture of something this Pokemon can get, he will immediately search for it or grab from its bag to later trade it with the human for something else in exchange.
The second Pokemon would be a convergent form of Gimmighoul. It would be called Treadghoul, mix of Trade and Gimmighoul. It would look a lot like Gimmighoul, but he would be white, have light blue eyes. It wouldn't have the divisory between the eyes and no tail. Instead of the antennas, he would wear a worn star headband with one of the stars missing, and he would carry a small bag with a patch full of things to trade. Its height would be 15 centimeters, and its weight would be 0.5 kilograms, and he would also be a pure normal type.
Treadghoul, the seller Pokemon, commonly found in street markets. This Pokemon will try to call the attention of people to trade anything of its bag for something specific that he wants. This is due to its collection ambition on the thing that he most like. In rare cases, its ambition will be so high that he will want to collect anything he trades or finds.
Now, since the original Gimmighoul evolves to Gayholdengo by getting 999 coins, I think it would be cool not only to put the same mechanic in Treadghoul, but also making it have different forms depending on what you give him. Introducing Kolingou, mix of collection with Gayholdengo, this Pokemon have 4 different forms, with the first one being when a Treadghoul evolves after collecting 999 berries. Example, Raz, Nanab, or Pinap. This form of Kolingou would be chunky, but still remembering a Gayholdengo. Its body would be made of red, pink, yellow, orange, and silver jam, and he would be dripping jam in its animation after collecting 999 steel or iron-related items. Example, coins, melt-in box, or metal coats. It would evolve into a more cubic version of Goldengo, but with its arms and legs still being flexible like Gargantuar. Its body would also be made mainly of iron, but with some big gold and copper dots around its body. After collecting 999 technology-related items, example, upgrade Pokeballs or technical machines/TMs, it would evolve into a future Paradox look-alike version of Gayholdengo, with its hair shining green and its eyes light blue. But instead of having 2 robotic arms, one of them is just wires, and the same thing for the legs. And for the last form, after collecting 999 of any item, you can use any item, but have to avoid using just the same items for the previous forms. It would evolve into a merge of all forms, but still remembering Gayholdengo. You would have the chunky and jam-like body from the first one, 1 arm and 1 leg from the second one, and 1 robo-arm, 1 robo-leg, and its neck and head from the third one. A fun thing for all evolutions is that you can mix different things related to the evolution at the same time to evolve the Pokemon, and differently of Gimmighoul. You don't need to necessarily stack 999 items. You could use the amount you have by giving to the Treadghoul, and after it, it would say how many you still need to evolve the Pokemon. But one thing would stay in all forms, its belt. It would be a regular one, but worn, and instead of a treasure chest, it would have its little bag from its previous form hanging on it. So basically, it's Jam form, Normal Fairy, Metal form, Steel Fairy, Robo form, Electric Fairy, and Merge form, Dragon Fairy. Its height would be 2 meters, and its weight would be 100 kilograms.
Kolego, the collection Pokemon. After a Treadghoul collects 999 items of its wish, it will sleep on top of the pile for a month. During this time, its body will start melting and merging with the pile. When the month ends, it will wake up and be extremely happy with its new body. After its achievement, it will help other Treadghouls to complete their collections too. So it's common to see both these Pokemon in street markets trying to trade things.
The way you would be able to get these Pokemons, except Kolingou, would be through a special research, where you would get a bag with a patch that would work as an incense, that refreshes every day, just like the daily incense, its duration would be 30 minutes. And one more thing about these Pokemons is that they would have a special mechanic. You see, when you walk with a buddy, you can get candies and Mega Energy. But these Pokemons would be able to hold an item, and when they walked a certain amount of kilometers, it would give you one candy and one more of that item. And those were the ideas. Thank you for watching. Now, if you excuse me, I will have dinner with my family.
Peter, the horse is here.
Skip it up and that up.